Let's get on with the stories that are happening nationwide and here in the city of Chicago. And I'm proud to really talk about this one story in particular, and that is, cannabis legalization possibly being hinted at by, of all places, the Trump administration. Now, look, I'm not going to say that Trump is going to be that president who's going to say, I'm going to legalize cannabis today. All the businesses are going to, sell the cannabis-related products. The prohibition is over. Let's make it illegal nationwide. I mean, that's not going to happen, but he is hinting at it and saying that he is in support of it. Now, this is probably a wink and a nod, and I don't know. Perhaps he might follow through, but with Donald Trump, you just don't know. And let's remember, in his administration, he has Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, who has this insane crusade against cannabis. I mean, if there's one thing that Jeff Sessions hates more than the opioid crisis or any other addictive, dangerous chemical drugs, it's cannabis. He is just vehemently against cannabis legalization. He is definitely wants to intensify the war on drugs. He wants to bring back the failed program that was DARE. And the very fact that the president of the United States has gone on the record thanks to the media, has stated that I would like to support cannabis legalization. It really kind of brings a smile to my face because I only can imagine what's going on in good old Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III head right now. And the reason why I'm saying his name out loud is because Paul DuPont mentioned it to me a while ago, and I just thought, that's a funny name.
It's fun to make fun of him by using his full name.
Yeah.
But this strikes me as Trump being the kind of faux populist that he is, and he's aware of the polling. He is aware that this is a popular thing. But to me, actions speak louder than words. He's the president. He could reschedule marijuana.
Yeah. And
you could hey, what a giant step that would be.
And on top of that too, let's look at the culture and how this country is viewing cannabis. More and more Americans nationwide, across the entire political spectrum, doesn't matter your background, the support for legalizing cannabis is becoming popular. It's the tired old propagandas that we've heard for 50, 60 years is irrelevant. We all know that it's a joke. The war on cannabis was really a war on black and brown communities. The war on cannabis was really a war on progressives and independents and third parties and grassroots organizations and people challenging this neoliberal establishment system that we have. Cannabis is basically the reason why cannabis is still illegal in this country is because of the prison industrial complex, as well as the lobbying efforts of the tobacco and alcohol industry as well. So,
and of course the pharmaceutical industry.
Yes, exactly. Because remember, we have a growing opioid crisis in this country, and these corporations that sell these dangerous, pharmaceutical pills that have traces of opioids or any other dangerous material in them, they're able to legally sell it to the American people. But when it comes down to a harmless herb, all of a sudden it's like World War III.
Not even an herb, it's a flower.
Oops.
Even more benign.
Oh, wow.
So wait, what you're telling me is we could have more tax revenue if we legalized it. We would spend less money on private prisons.
Yeah.
On a substance that the majority of people are in favor of legalizing and doesn't hurt anyone.
And more people are supporting it.
And will reduce the number of opioid addictions we have in the country. But boy, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do any of those good things.
Also, it's an object that has been accepted by human society for 3,000 years at least, and only has been rejected for about the last 75.
Yes, and I want everyone to remember when Colorado became one of the first major states to legalize cannabis recreationally. For some time, many of the conservative areas in that state were against cannabis and cannabis-related businesses. But as time progressed and they saw the revenue that was coming in, more and more people were changing their mind. And that is why Colorado, this might sound like a foreign word again to many of us who live here in Illinois, Colorado has a budgetary surplus. I'm going to say that again one more time. A budgetary surplus. Now, I know we, the people of Illinois, definitely would like something like that. And I don't know if we'll ever see it in our lifetime, but it's something to consider because that's a strong industry that's growing there. Let's think about all the jobs and opportunities that can come from it. And at the same time, too, if we legalize cannabis nationwide, if this is something that Trump is going to do or support or lay the groundwork to let it happen, we have to remember that there are many people in prison right now, in jail, because they held onto a small bag of cannabis. And if we're going to make it legal nationwide, we also have to ensure that all those people in jail right now are released or pardoned, and at the same time too given resources so that they can, reintegrate into society, because it's just a punch in people's faces that if we legalize cannabis nationwide, what are we going to do about the people still in jail?
And also, another point to match that matches the income revenue that you get from taxation is the income expenditure reduction that comes from not putting people in prison for years and years and years. I mean, it costs more to put people in prison in some cases than it does to send them to Harvard.
Yeah.
So we could either be spending all that money
I think the national average is $75,000 a year to put a person in prison. What if you gave that person a job and paid them $40,000 a year? Hey, you'd save $35,000.
Take away the job. What if you just gave someone $40,000 a year? You'd still be saving $35,000.
You'd still be saving $35,000.
And just remember, because I'm going to head right back to Colorado. The state of Colorado, the state government was handing out refund checks to its citizens, stating that we have so much money, here's a refund check, do whatever you want with it. We got all this money. I'm pretty sure people here in Illinois would like that to happen. And remember,
also, doing all of this also reduces the strength of organized crime.
Yeah. You want to stop crime? Take away what they're selling illegally. Make sure that it's regulated and protected, so you're selling a good product. At the same time, too, create education programs. You could use something with the revenue, and here in Illinois, there is a possibility of it becoming legal for recreational use here in our state. It's called Senate Bill 316 and House Bill 2353. I've talked about it before in the past. And I also want to bring up something very serious as well. And that is, I've recently become friends with people who need to use medical cannabis to help them out. And, across the board, you want to know what all of them are saying? Thank God I have this card, or thank God that at least we have medical cannabis here in this state of Illinois, that I'm able to access it, because, they've all said, I'm able to work, I'm able to deal with whatever illness, be it physical or mental, that I'm able to reintegrate into society, I'm able to function. Medical cannabis is helping them out. And when I asked them, like, okay, well, what about some of these prescription drugs that they're sold over the counter? They all said the same thing. I don't want to use it. It causes too much pain. It hurts.
So let's factor that in. So we got, okay, you're increasing profits through taxes. Mm-hmm. You are decreasing expenditure through not having people go through the criminal justice system, which is very expensive. And in addition, you're increasing GDP by making the side effects of people's illnesses less so they can participate in the workforce more, using something that also generates money for the state. Seems pretty good.
Yeah.
But you know who's going to lose money? Those private prisons.
Oh, man.
And those pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, no.
They're not going to make as much money.
No.
Paul, you also forgot the alcohol and tobacco lobbyist groups, too. So, look, here, because we got to move on to another story that's very important, and we have to cover it. But I want everyone to remember, look, if you live in Illinois, call your local state senators and House representatives and ask them where they stand on cannabis legalization, Senate Bill 316 and House Bill 2353. And this is a shout-out to all Americans across the board, from the Democrats in the U.S. Senate and House, the Republicans in the U.S. Senate and House, and even President Trump. Do the right thing and end this stupid war on drugs. Cannabis is harmless. The propaganda against it is stupid. It is outdated. And more Americans are growing in favor of getting it legalized. So let's do the smart thing. Let's do the right thing and end it.
And let me give a shout out directly to Trump if he's listening, which would be quite miraculous.
Yeah.
If you do this, take it off Schedule 1 and take it off the schedule entirely and call it the Beauregard Sessions Act.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would appreciate that, and you get to have a little fun with him.
Yeah, cool. And if Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III gets upset about it, you just tell him to shut up.
Well, you tell him, hey, it's off the schedule now. You have to